friends, it's Rose from Getting Grounded in the Garden. Today I'm going to talk you through a journey of April through mid-May gardening activities to help you know what to do in your own yards at this time of year. Every time I go outside, I stand in wonder of the beauty around me. Taking in the sights and sounds of nature is what inspires me. And if I can create surroundings that are even more beautiful, sustainable, and friendly to the natural ecosystem, I feel complete. And I hope I inspire you to do the same. I'll be giving you a list of things to do and prepare in your own yards, and then move on to show you some techniques for weeding, for removing some invasive plants, for dividing and transplanting, for identifying poisonous plants that give us highly irritating rashes, and for appreciating the changes that happen in our gardens. You know, I love a well-done landscape design, but there's nothing like getting up close to a plant and enjoying the intricacies of every part of it while taking in the natural sights and sounds and movements all around me. And every day is different and changing. Let's start off today by enjoying some of my camera views from the last 2 weeks. This coronavirus situation has allowed me the opportunity to spend more time in the yard, and I truly appreciate it. I think many of us have been forced to slow down, to spend more time with the people we love right under our own roofs, and to tend to the here and now. Some people's lives have certainly become more difficult and demanding, while still working and dealing with the compounded stresses of the virus. Our money situations are in jeopardy, and the kids need help with homeschooling and attention in other ways all day long. I would like to suggest that if there is any way possible to get outside to work or play in your yard, either alone or with helpers, please do. I think you will find it very rewarding. Okay, April until about Mother's Day is a very busy time in the yard. There is work to be done, but except for the rainy days, the weather is very encouraging. The coolness is invigorating, and you can be energetic without even working up a sweat. Just as we do spring cleaning inside the house, there are things we need to do outside. And here's the list. You'll be clearing all debris from the yard, putting those branches through a mulcher if you're lucky enough to have one. You'll be sprucing things up. That might mean painting a fence, fixing up a walkway, repairing wheelbarrows and tools, washing outdoor furniture and decks, ... It's time to open up for a new season. There is weeding to be done. That is probably the most long-lasting job. All of those winter annual weeds have been popping up like crazy and require early attention. This is also the time for dividing, transplanting, and planting many, not all, perennials, ornamental grasses, shrubs, and trees. And you can start mowing the lawn and fertilizing and using your weed control. It's also a time for mulching in April, May, or June. Or if you don't want to go for new mulch, you can gently turn your existing mulch with a rake. This is a great time for composting and feeding plants with compost or plant fertilizer or food. You will also be raking up remaining dried leaves, and you can put those through a leaf shredder if you're lucky enough to have one of those. I actually don't have a mulcher or a leaf shredder. We can do without, right? This is the time to stake up your peonies and your vines and your plants that need it. If you don't have real stakes, you can make them, and I'll show you how. And if you are someone who enjoys planting seeds, you have most likely started many seeds inside. You can also start some seeds outside soon. Another thing you can do is collect any remaining seeds from stalks in your yards. And I'll show you how to do that too. Number 10, remove invasive plants. That, I feel, is something we can all do. We can all pitch in to help save our environment. These invasive plants really are a big problem, you know. That was quite a list, but when you think about it, you don't have to do all those things on the list. And you also have about a whole month to do those 10 things. Okay, you won't be seeing my face anymore, but I will be recording my voice along with the video that I have created. So enjoy, and I hope you learn a thing or two. Don't forget, you can always like, subscribe, comment, share, do all those things to help me out. I'm trying to help you out, and it's a two-way street. Let's start with the bad. These are the weeds you are probably seeing in your yards right now, although we all know there are plenty more. Just do your best digging them out in the most effective way, remembering that some have tap roots, some pull out easily, and others just need a light scraping. Remember, the more you get out this year, the less you will have next year, because all those weed flowers turn into seeds and spread around your yard. Take a look at this weed. It is called bishop's weed, or gout weed, or ground elder. It even has a variegated form called snow on the mountain. It is still sold today as a ground cover, which it certainly is, but beware. Bishop's weed has the most aggressive creeping rootstocks called rhizomes. Although these rhizomes look delicate, even the tiniest fibers keep growing. They creep underground and don't know how to stop. They spread out horizontally and down about 12 inches, and they crowd out and kill other plants and escape into new areas. There are 3 ways to try to get rid of bishop's weed. 1, digging, and then sifting the soil through a screen to remove all root fibers. Not as easy as it sounds. 2, covering the whole area with dark plastic for about 2 years. And 3, spraying with harmful herbicides. None of these methods are foolproof. There's a lesson here. Don't plant something unless you look into it. If the plant label uses any words like fast ground cover, or establishes quickly, or makes a thick carpet, think twice and then say no. Take a look around your yard to see if you have any barberry popping up. This is a plant that may have escaped into your yard. Usually you see them in a purple-red color. They have lots of stickers along the branches. Over time, their seeds have been blown or dropped by birds all over fields and woods edges. They grow and continue the cycle. If you look around, you will see them. Please cut them down or pull them out, then throw them out. No matter what the color of the leaves, inside the stems is yellow. Before we go any further, I'm showing you some pictures of the most popular poisonous plants so that you can identify them. Poison ivy and poison oak are similar. They both have sets of 3 leaves. I'm also showing you some poison sumac. When identifying these plants, look for colors that change with the seasons, stems that are usually very hard to pull from the ground, and no stickers. And if you think you've been exposed to a poisonous plant, it's a good idea to wash your clothes in hot water and shower immediately when coming inside, rubbing your arms roughly with soap and water. And one last bad invasive weed before we move on to happier topics, Multiflora Rose. If you see it, please pull it out or cut it back and make sure you throw it out. If you throw them in a pile on the ground, they will reroot and grow again. I am urging you to remove as many of these as you can. They are multiplying at such a rapid rate, and every little bit will help. Okay, time to get ready for planting. I'm just adding some compost to last year's soil. If you don't have compost, this would be a great time to start making it. Check out my video on making compost, or just use topsoil or dirt. Here's a trick for you. Use some of last year's seeds. These are stalks from penstemon and coneflower plants. I hope the birds ate what they needed, but whatever is left, I will toss into my wildflower beds. This is a great year to be resourceful. Gotta do what you gotta do. The dried up plants in this bed are called plumbago. The blue flowers in early fall are really pretty. I'm grabbing some of the remaining seeds to sprinkle back into this bed after I remove the leaves, and I'm saving some for my sister to put in her front bed too. Save some sticks to use as stakes for when you don't have enough store-bought stakes. I tie twine around 3 sticks here. I can slide the twine up higher as the peonies grow larger, or just add more twine. See those sticks? You can cut them back after you determine the size you need. And here's another one. This is a really good time to divide these Hakone grasses in my neighbor's yard. They have become too dense. Sometimes the whole clump of perennials or grasses will develop what's called an empty donut hole in the middle. That's when you really know they need division. In this case, that hasn't happened yet, but I do have another spot that could use them. Another reason to divide or even transplant is when you realize your plant is not getting the nutrients it needs because of overcrowding and competition for root space. Move it or try a new home. If you have construction or obstructions in your yard, you might also need to move the plants entirely. On the other hand, you should not always divide them. The most obvious reason being that the plant might be too young and underdeveloped. Most perennials and ornamental grasses can be divided now, way before they bloom, or wait until after they bloom. As you can see, you don't need to be gentle or nimble when dividing or transplanting clumping plants. Try to find the cutting spot that makes the most sense and just dig right in. Go deep at first to make sure you're getting under the root mass, then go all around. You can split the mass apart in the ground or pull it out, lay it on the ground, and use a sharp-edged shovel to cut off the parts you want. Make sure to pack the soil back in tightly around it and under it, leaving no air pockets. And always water generously after any transplanting, dividing, or planting. I might not always remember to mention it, just consider it a given. I want to talk with you about changes. At one time, this bed here along my driveway received full sun most of the day, with only the plum tree, this sweet bay magnolia, a beautiful 9-bark, the Korean fir, and many, many perennials. Then I planted these green giant arborvitaes for privacy and shade, so my original plants lost their sun and their vigor and their lives. Some of my anemone plants, daffodils, and allium bulb plants are still here, but getting smothered by the trees and their shade. Today I'll be doing a little rescue mission, transplanting them. I left the stalks on the anemones so I could find them now when the soil is warm enough for transplanting. These anemone hoopahensis flowers stood tall and danced every September. The past year or so, though, they have been laying low on the grass. I have a new designated spot for them. So, as in life, we need to learn, roll with the punches, make a new plan, and proceed. That's one of the reasons I love gardening. My sister told me a few weeks ago she heard someone on the radio say that planting equals hope. Every time we plant a seed, a plant, or a tree, we are planting hope. I always felt that way, but never put it into words. Now I will always equate planting or gardening with hope. I feel that this process requires some time and patience, but I also feel that it's truly worth it. Besides that, these plants are really expensive, so I want to get the best use out of them. It's not the best time for transplanting daffodils, but I'm going to take my chances here. Something you and I just do once in a while. If we're outside already, we're digging, we have a project we want to get done, and we think there's a good chance of success, we'll just do it. These daffodils were much tougher than I thought they would be. And this certainly is great exercise. Yay, success! Okay, I have a nice new spot for these anemone plants. It's a nice, moist, sunny spot, slightly sloped. I think they will do well here. And that's something you and I need to do. We need to read our plant labels and even research our plants a little and make sure we're giving them the right conditions, the right amount of sun, soil, water, everything they need to survive and thrive. And one last touch here for today, setting up my geese. Every year I put them in the same spot. There we go. I'm happy now. And just one last look at the backyard, the wood's edge. I've been working on this area for about 10 years, some years much more than others. Really, at one time it was mostly sticker bushes back here. I've tried to create a peaceful, shady getaway area. Most of the plants back here were donations and then divisions or transplants. I really don't have many varieties of plants. I just keep spreading them around. This week was particularly pretty with all of the spring bloomers showing their subtle and pastel colors. My happy, simple place. I'm leaving you today with some other sightings. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We did quite a bit of work, but as you can see, it pays off, and we are setting the stage for next month when we can finally do more planting. Remember to have hope and be safe and well. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned a few things and enjoyed our little journey of gardening. And please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, do any or all of those things to help promote my channel. Thank you so much. See you next time.